I dated a girl who was Muslim before, and I didn't know that she prayed like 5 times a day. And I just remember she came over once and she was in the bathroom, and I heard her washing her hands, and I went in the bathroom and she was actually washing her feet. Like her feet was in the sink, and I was like, huh, that's interesting. And so I think religion is something
I wash my feet.
Not in the sink like that?
Mm-hmm.
No, you don't.
Yes, I do. When they're dirty.
In the sink where you brush your teeth?
Sometimes. Welcome back to Let's Koup.
What's up, y'all? So, let's get right into it.
Yeah.
3 things you should know about the person you're with.
Ooh.
These are the things you wouldn't necessarily think about when being with somebody because
you're in love and you don't want to have the hard conversations.
Well, not just hard conversations. You don't even know if those conversations will be hard or not.
Sure.
These are certain things that you sort of look past before you get into a relationship.
Yeah.
Right? Mm-hmm. So, first one, politics. I was on a dating app before, long time ago. Long time ago.
Long time ago.
Long time ago. And I remember people would put on their app, no Trump supporters. And I thought that was very, very interesting. Because like you can get into a relationship with somebody and you find out that this person have completely different beliefs and values than you.
Yeah.
For instance, if you're somebody who, you know, are super against abortion, but then you find out somebody is like, you know, feels like, you know, everyone should be able to do it, whatever, and willy-nilly and doesn't really care about it, that might touch you in a sort of way. Or if one person believes in the death penalty and the other person is like, no, I don't believe in that.
I think that comes up a lot more, I think, with children, because you have to decide how you're going to raise this person. I didn't even really think about that before I started dating you, but it came up. And luckily we were kind of on the same page, but I just think that's important, especially now where people are very outspoken about their beliefs.
Yeah, I can give an example of if you have kids and you want your kids to be taught a certain way or be taught certain things, and then you take your kid to a school and they're learning things that one or the other parents don't want them learning. I think that could sort of impact the relationship at home if one person has a problem with it and someone else.
What can you do?
I think there are different things. I mean, like, obviously,
do you have to break up because you don't agree?
No, obviously there's going to be some
disagreements.
Yeah, there's going to be some disagreements in your relationship when it comes to politics. One person might be a Democrat, the other person might be a Republican, the other person might be independent, or one person might be independent. That would be if you have a three-person relationship.
Wow.
The other person.
All right.
But
that's a whole different conversation.
Yeah. So there's different ways to you know, be in that relationship and still have those disagreements. And I think one of them is take a break from politics. You can take a break from politics because, I mean, who wants to talk about politics all the time? I think we get into arguments a lot.
Huh?
I don't talk about politics all the time.
I think you would want to.
No, I wouldn't.
Oh.
Have I talked
No,
about
no. I'm just saying you enjoy talking about politics.
Not at home.
I think you want me to talk more about politics.
Not really.
Oh.
What made you think that? I'm like,
well, I guess sometimes you say that I don't talk about things that you like talking about.
I don't think that's a bad thing. I think that's a good thing.
Oh.
Another one is like having respectful communication about the things that you disagree with. Don't like, you know, feel, oh, you believe this, so you're a horrible person, or you're this, or you're that. I think politics is something. It's a deep value that we sort of gain growing up. Another one is to set boundaries. Don't talk about this during the dinner table, at the dinner table.
Right, especially if it's something that brings up other things for you. I think politics can strike some soft spots in people, you know, depending what you're talking about. So just being aware of your partner and being aware of if there are disagreements when you bring those up. And
another one is find common ground. Find common ground on...
What do you agree on?
Right. I mean, there are certain things you can have if you feel like, okay, I believe everyone should have a living wage and be paid, $30 an hour. Well, $30 an hour, I don't know, maybe I don't believe in that, but maybe they should be getting paid $20 an hour. I don't care what you believe. I believe, you know what? But we both believe that people should be making a living wage. All right, we compromise. That's good. Let's go off that, because back in the day, people were making a little bit of less money and they would be able to buy a big house or whatever. Now people can't buy houses. Anyway, there's ways I think you can compromise to sort of
find the common ground.
Yeah,
I like that.
And so compromise is another one. And the last one, prioritize your relationship. That's the important thing. I mean, politics are going to change. I might have a thought today that might change in 2 or 3 years, and vice versa.
I read something that said, don't ask your partner, why do you think, et cetera, et cetera. And having a conversation without being like condescending of like, why do you think that that's stupid, kind of. So do other things other than talk about politics, but also when you are talking about politics, put that person first.
Yeah.
Even above what you may agree with or disagree with.
All right. So the second one is religion.
Yeah.
I dated a girl who was Muslim before, and I didn't know that she prayed like 5 times a day. And I just remember she came over once, and she was in the bathroom, and I heard her washing her hands, and I went in the bathroom and she was actually washing her feet. Like her feet was in the sink, and I was like, huh, that's interesting. And then we had a conversation, and she about how would you raise your kids? And she's like, oh yeah, I would want my kids to be raised in a mosque and to be raised in. And so I think religion is something.
I wash my feet.
Not in the sink like that? No, you don't.
Yes, I do. When they're dirty.
In the sink where you brush your teeth?
Sometimes.
I think religion is one of those things that you should know where your person stands. Are they someone who likes to go to church? They believe in God, they believe in Jesus, or they're atheists, or they believe, they believe in God, but they don't believe that Jesus is.
So to your example, you said you dated someone in another religion. I've never dated anyone in another religion, but even within Christianity, there's different ways to view things and different beliefs in that as well. So the thing about it though is that you start to notice things as your relationship goes on. You're not like openly having these, because you don't think about it. You don't think to have the conversation like, oh yeah, I don't actually believe in praying, or I don't know, whatever it is. So as those things come up, that's when you get to, again, not really judge the person for what they're doing or what they believe, but just asking honestly, why they do what they do, and assessing if that's something that you guys can move forward with or not.
Yeah, and I think one of the things that she talked about earlier was just being honest. Be honest about what you believe, because sometimes, you could be
blinded in love and not want to offend the other person, or not want to you can offend somebody. I mean,
sometimes if you feel have a deep belief about something, and you know that you're dating somebody who is an atheist or don't believe in God, but you really love them, then is that going to change the way you think about religion and God and all that? Like, that's something, especially if it's something that's deep for you and it's something that's brought you through some things, or I think that's something very important.
This brings up really assessing what you actually believe, because, for example, if someone you love believes something different and you believe something mostly because you grew up in that, I think it's valid to really assess, is this something that I genuinely believe in, that I want to hold to, or is this something that I was taught to believe in? And I never took the time to really consider if this is my personal belief.
I mean, some of the things that we're taught, we can learn things that we believe in as well.
Sure,
I think,
sure.
But institutionalization.
Institutionalization. Sure. I think
some of us can get institutionalized. And I think that's different, where you're like feeding something because you want someone to believe in this thing. It's almost like being in an educational camp where you want somebody to learn something or believe certain things. And I've heard authoritarian countries do that to certain people. At the end of the day, you have to be willing to respect the other person's belief at the end of the day. And the third one, emotional trauma. Emotional trauma.
I've responded the same way every time. I'm like...
And the thing about emotional trauma, it's very important that you know
what that person has been through. They are a whole different human being that has had a whole life experience that's going to impact the decisions and the way that they react to life.
Yeah, and you don't want to, I mean, we're not saying, you know, you meet somebody, you go to dinner the first night and they're like, hey.
That's your emotional trauma.
Just so you know, when I was young, this thing happened to me. And, you know, like, whoa, that's a lot.
Yeah.
But why is it important? I think it's important because you want to know, you're going to want to know how to support someone who has dealt with emotional trauma and is going through recovery. If they, I mean, hopefully they're going through recovery or, you know, but I think it's important to know. When I was young, I saw my mom get beat up by my stepdad. And I remember, you know, going to try to defend her and then I got beat up. So that's trauma that, you know, can stick with you. And if you don't know that about, if you know that about somebody, you'll know why, you know, oh, he's fighting for women's rights because of this, or he feels this way about you because of that. And vice versa. If you're dating someone who had some sort of trauma when she was younger and she behaves a certain way or she expresses herself a certain way, you know, I think it's important to know these things because it'll give you a better example of how to approach the relationship and how to have a better communication with your person.
Yeah, this is a sensitive topic. I think, you know, and to get to know somebody's trauma, I think is observation. You just kind of know, you know, you go through life and different things come up and you notice, okay, this person reacts like this, and maybe before just getting upset that they reacted this way, this is something I've learned in our relationship is like, you'll react a certain way, or I will to interesting things that because I haven't experienced what they've experienced, I'm like, why are they reacting that way? But once you let me know I react this way because of this, because this happened in my life, all of a sudden then I'm like, oh, okay, I have more compassion in that situation. And so it's hard to always be in that state of, let me consider that you might be responding this way because of you have a reason. Yeah,
and also I think it's important for us to just have grace for the person that you're with, because, you know, somebody might be dealing with trauma that they don't want to talk about. We all grow up in a different environment, learning different things from different people, learning different things that can come in bad ways. So I think we all have those different things about us, and I think it's important for us to just have grace for your person.
It's literally two worlds colliding, basically.
Yeah, and you might not know what they're dealing with, so it's good to have good communication and talk about these things, and maybe at some point, you know, it's a good thing to know.
Yeah, and I think even for the person with the trauma, communicate. And what I even mean by communicate is, obviously, if you experience something and you react a certain way and you realize that it's because this happened in your life, and that's, you know, then obviously if you feel comfortable and you're ready to share that, do that. But also it could mean, hey, I'm not ready to communicate and tell you exactly what's going on with me. I just need some time. Just know that this affected me in a certain way. You know?
Yeah, and I think if you communicate that, and you know that at some point you'll be able to communicate that, you have respect for their process, and that's about it. So,
I think those are three really big important things to know about your partner.
And if you have any more, write it in the comments. Tell people about it. Tell people to share. I mean, there's a lot of things that you should know about your person, but we picked three that was sort of very important, but also unorthodox. You're not thinking about those things before, you know, you make a decision. I want to be with this person. Oh no.
When you have the butterflies.
Right, and then you find out, oh no, all these different things that I didn't know about them. So yeah.
Butterflies and politics don't usually go together.
Okay, thank you.
Bye.